What if I told you that most billionaires don't rise to the top because they're the smartest, the luckiest, or even the hardest working? What if the real advantage, the thing that quietly separates them from everyone else, is something you almost never see? Not the private jets, not the business empires, not the bank accounts. I'm talking about the invisible psychology running in the background of every decision they make. Patterns so subtle that most people overlook them their entire lives. Yet these same patterns guide billionaires like a compass toward wealth, opportunity, and power. Here's the strange part. When researchers at Harvard, Stanford, and the London School of Economics studied self-made billionaires, they found something they didn't expect. The gap wasn't just skill or intelligence. It wasn't even timing. It was a set of psychological habits that started forming long before the money ever arrived. These habits acted like invisible engines. They made the difference between someone who hesitates and someone who sees a door open before anyone else even notices it exists. One billionaire described it like this during an interview. "I wasn't competing with other people. I was competing with my own blind spots." Most ordinary people never develop this awareness, not because they can't, but because no one ever teaches it. In fact, many schools, workplaces, and even families unintentionally train people to think in ways that slow them down, keep them cautious, or trap them in short-term survival mode. But today, you're going to see what they see. You're going to learn the hidden psychological scripts that quietly shape billionaire behavior. Scripts so powerful that even one of them can change the trajectory of a person's life. Before we dive in, tell me your name and where you're watching from in the comments. I always love hearing where people are tuning in. 1. The pattern ordinary people miss. Identity over circumstance. Most people grow up believing that success depends on external things: salary, education, talent, opportunity. Billionaires don't think that way. Their starting point isn't circumstance, it's identity. They ask different questions. Not what can I get, but who am I becoming? This shift sounds small, but it changes everything. Because when your identity leads, your actions follow automatically. If you see yourself as someone who builds, you create. If you see yourself as someone who solves problems, you look for problems instead of waiting for life to be easy. One researcher interviewing self-made billionaires noticed a pattern. They spoke far less about goals and far more about standards. A goal is something you want. A standard is something you refuse to live below. Most people say, "I hope I earn more this year." A billionaire says, "I don't operate at that level anymore." It's not motivation, it's identity locking into place. And here's the twist. Identity-based thinking makes them emotionally resilient. Setbacks don't shake them the way they shake most people. A failed product, a bad investment, even public embarrassment. These don't destroy their sense of self because their identity isn't built on success. It's built in a direction. They treat failure like data. They treat embarrassment like tuition. And they treat uncertainty like normal weather, not a storm to avoid. If you're wondering why billionaires stay calm when everything looks chaotic, it's because they're not trying to preserve an image. They're trying to maintain momentum. Ordinary people try to avoid mistakes. Billionaires try to extract lessons as fast as possible. That psychology alone puts them on a different timeline. They move faster, adjust quicker, and spot opportunity before fear clouds the view. If this resonates so far, get ready, because the next section reveals a mindset that almost no one talks about, but it quietly shapes nearly every billionaire decision behind the scenes. 2. The billionaire lens. Seeing what others overlook. Ask an average person what they notice in a situation, and they'll point out the obvious. Ask a billionaire the same question, and they'll point out the invisible. They're trained, sometimes through experience, sometimes through necessity, to look for the underlying mechanics of any environment. Not what's happening, but why it's happening. Most people walk into a store and see products. A billionaire sees supply chains, margins, customer psychology, weak points, and untapped opportunities. Most people see a trend and think, everyone's doing it. A billionaire asks, what's missing? What's next? This shift is subtle, but it's one of the biggest separators. In a study analyzing interviews with high-net-worth founders, researchers noticed something remarkable. When describing their success, they rarely described talent. They described awareness. They could trace the root cause of problems faster. They sensed patterns that repeated. They spotted gaps between what people said and what people actually wanted. Their brains worked like radar. And here's something even more surprising. They trained this ability through boredom, where most people tune out. Long meetings, slow markets, mundane processes, billionaires lean in. They watch quietly, they take mental notes. They wait for the tiny detail that changes everything. One founder said, "People miss fortune because they're distracted. Wealth is quiet. Noise is expensive." Most people chase excitement. Billionaires chase information. Most people want the big moment. Billionaires want a small clue. And because they see what others overlook, they can act before the rest of the world even realizes a door has opened. If you're ready, the next section digs into a psychological habit that billionaires use every day, one that rewires how they make decisions and reduces fear in ways most people never experience. 3. The calm bias. How billionaires remove fear from decisions. One of the strongest psychological advantages billionaires have isn't confidence or boldness, it's calm. Not the calm you get from meditation or a vacation, but a trained response to pressure that most people never develop.
In high-stress moments, most people freeze or rush. They panic, overthink, or reach for the safest option. Billionaires do the opposite. They slow down internally, even if everything around them is falling apart. Researchers studying high-stakes decision-makers found a consistent pattern. The wealthiest individuals had a lower physiological stress response during uncertainty. Their bodies didn't react the same way. Their minds stayed clear long enough to analyze instead of panic. This calm creates a psychological advantage in 3 ways. First, they make cleaner choices. Fear compresses your vision. Calm widens it. A calm mind sees multiple paths, not just the comfortable one. Second, they separate emotion from information. Most people react to how a situation feels. Billionaires react to what a situation means. Third, they calculate the downside more realistically. Ordinary people imagine disaster. Billionaires map actual risk. And when the real downside is smaller than the imagined one, decisions become easier. One investor once said, "People lose more money in their head than in the real world." He wasn't talking about bad luck. He was talking about fear. And that fear is what billionaire psychology dismantles piece by piece. Not by being fearless, but by understanding the difference between discomfort and danger. Calm is their edge. Clarity is their fuel. And together, they allow billionaires to take actions most people only dream of. 4. The hidden social advantage. Asking questions others never ask. When most people network, they try to look impressive. When billionaires network, they try to understand. They ask questions that cut deeper than small talk. Questions that reveal motivations, patterns, and pressure points. Not in a manipulative way, but in a strategic one. While most people ask, "What do you do?" billionaires ask, "What problem keeps you up at night? What are you building toward? What's the bottleneck you can't solve yet?" These questions do 2 things immediately. They create trust and they reveal opportunity. A Stanford researcher studying powerful networks noticed that billionaires build relationships the same way they build companies, through insight. They don't force connections. They observe people. They learn what others ignore. They spot the gaps, skills, needs, motivations, and then offer value at the exact point where it matters. This is why their networks grow fast. People remember those who understand them, not those who try to impress them. And there's another layer. Billionaires don't chase people. They attract them through clarity. People gravitate towards someone who knows what they want, what they offer, and what they're building. That kind of direction is magnetic. Ordinary networking is transactional. Billionaire networking is psychological. And once you see the difference, you can't unsee it. 5. The expansion model. Thinking in systems, not steps. Most people think about tasks. Billionaires think in systems. A task gets something done once. A system gets something done forever. This one psychological shift explains why billionaires can multiply results while everyone else burns out. They don't ask, "How do I solve this problem today?" They ask, "How do I create a structure that solves this problem every day?" This shift changes the entire direction of their life. Instead of focusing on effort, they focus on architecture. Instead of asking for more time, they design processes that save time. Instead of relying on motivation, they rely on repeatable mechanisms. A researcher studying ultra-successful founders noticed a repeating pattern. Once a billionaire solves something once, they never want to solve it again. They aim to build a system that removes the bottleneck permanently. This applies to money, health, relationships, work, and even personal habits. That's why their progress compounds. While most people restart every Monday, billionaires automate, delegate, or redesign their environment so success becomes the path of least resistance. Systems make growth predictable, and predictability makes scale possible. 6. The shift most people never make, and the one billionaire secret anyone can use. There's one more psychological habit that ties everything together. It's not glamorous, it's not complicated, but it silently shapes billionaire success more than anything else. It's the habit of internal responsibility. Most people blame circumstances, timing, luck, or other people when things go wrong. Billionaires look inward first. They ask, "What part of this outcome was under my control?" That question builds power instead of helplessness. It rewires the mind to look for leverage instead of excuses. It creates direction instead of frustration. It builds a mindset where every setback becomes fuel for the next move. Once you adopt this habit, everything changes. You start noticing opportunities you ignored. You start trusting your instincts more. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start building the moment you have. That's the hidden psychology behind billionaire success. Not wealth, not talent, not luck, but a set of invisible mental habits that shape how they see the world, how they respond to pressure, and how they build their future. You don't need millions to start using any of these. You can begin with awareness, with identity, with calm, with systems, with responsibility. Small shifts create massive momentum, and momentum is what rewrites lives. If this video opened your eyes, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps the channel grow, and it lets me keep creating videos that move you forward. Let me know in the comments which mindset hit you the hardest. I read every one.